Have you ever had that moment in an argument where you hear yourself saying something and you think, oh my gosh, I sound exactly like my mother? Or maybe you shut down mid-conflict and think, wow, that was my dad, like 100% my dad. And you don't even mean to. You love your partner, you've done personal growth, you've read the books. You're not trying to repeat the patterns you grew up with. And yet, there they are. Today, we're talking about how to break generational cycles without blaming your parents, without shaming yourself, and without pretending it's not happening. Because if you're a high achieving couple who wants a long-term relationship, this work is not optional. It's foundational. And if you're really interested in diving into this topic, I'm leading a masterclass on February 25th, exactly on this. What we can start doing to recognize our patterns and start stepping out of them. So go find the link in the show notes to register. Now, it's time to dive into this topic. Go grab yourself a warm drink and let's dive in. Welcome to Relationship Reset, a podcast for high-achieving couples who've been together for over a decade and don't want to feel like roommates anymore. I'm Katie Russler, relationship strategist and couples counselor with almost 20 years of experience helping ambitious couples reconnect, strengthen communication, and turn their relationship into the best part of their success story. This podcast is about using practical tools and a lot of real talk to help you understand your patterns, stop feeling stuck and discouraged, and start working on your relationship in ways that actually fit your busy life. Because your relationship shouldn't be the cost of your success, it should be the best part of it. So let's dive in. I remember early in my marriage realizing that I had two very distinct modes. Mode one was this calm, rational, therapist brain Katie. And mode two was triggered 10-year-old Katie who was absolutely convinced she was about to be misunderstood, dismissed, or left emotionally alone. And guess which one showed up during conflict? Not therapist Katie, adaptive child Katie. That went really well. And here's what I've learned both personally and professionally. Most of our repeat arguments are not about the present moment. They're about old survival strategies running in the background. If you've been with your partner 10, 15, 20 years, you're not just interacting with each other. You're interacting with their family of origin, your family of origin, their cultural conditioning, your cultural conditioning, and two adaptive children trying to feel safe. So let's unpack this. First, I want you to acknowledge that your adaptive child is driving more than you think. When we look at doing inner child work, we usually look at the wounded child and the adaptive child. Your wounded child holds the pain, right? The things that were done to you. And they don't have to be major, extreme bad things, but there are stuff that led to you feeling negative emotions and often on repeat. Then you have your adaptive child who learned how to survive that pain. Maybe you learned to people please, overachieve, shut down, get really loud, become hyper independent, or become the fixer. And the difficult reality is those strategies probably worked in childhood. They kept you connected, they kept you from getting in trouble, or they kept you emotionally safer than the alternative. But what kept you safe at 10 years old is not what creates intimacy at 45. So when you snap, withdraw, overfunction, or criticize, that's not, quote, who you are. That's an old survival setting. And until you see it, you will repeat it. You may find yourself saying things like, in my family, we didn't talk about feelings. Or in my house, you just pushed through. Or we didn't question authority. Or dad worked and mom handled everything else. And suddenly, you're 15 years into marriage arguing about shared responsibilities, but you never consciously designed your roles. You absorbed them. You inherited them. You defaulted into them. And here's where high-achieving couples get stuck. You're brilliant in your careers. You're strategic in business. You've never run a company without reviewing systems, right? But in your relationship, you're running 40-year-old operating software. Breaking cycles starts with asking, what did I assume was normal that actually needs redesigning? So I love using personality frameworks because they give us a language. Some of what you do is temperament. Some of it is trauma. Some of it is culture. And some of it is just wiring. And part of our maturity is learning, I don't have to stop being me, but I may need to learn a new relational language. Just like for me, I don't stop being an English speaker, but I've got to learn German living here in Germany. You expand, you translate, you adjust your delivery. Breaking cycles doesn't mean erasing your personality. It means choosing how it shows up. And something I want to remind all of us is that disharmony, that imbalance in our relationship, is not a sign that things are failing. A lot of couples think if we really healed, if we really worked on this inner child, we wouldn't fight like this. But the research shows healthy couples move through cycles of disharmony into repair and then back into harmony over and over again. But the difference in healthy couples is that disharmony gets shorter, the repair gets faster, and the shame that we can feel gets smaller. Breaking generational cycles doesn't mean you never get triggered. It means you recognize it faster. You own it quicker and you repair without the ego getting involved. That's personal growth. So let's talk about one of the most common inherited patterns I see: avoidance disguised as strength. We don't dwell on things. Just move on. It's not a big deal. Why are you so sensitive? And that adaptive pattern becomes stonewalling, minimizing, over intellectualizing. You know that when you get in that logical mode and you just stay there and you won't touch the emotions anymore, and staying busy instead of staying connected. And suddenly your partner feels alone. Not because you don't love them, but because your nervous system was trained to survive by disengaging. That's not a character flaw, okay? That's just conditioning. But you are responsible for updating that software. So let's talk about what we can start doing to improve this. First, I want you to identify one pattern that you have repeated. Not 5 or 10, just one. Do not try to fix your entire lineage this month, okay? We're just picking one reoccurring reaction, which is a pattern that you show. Ask yourself, when I'm stressed, do I get louder or quieter? Do I pursue or withdraw? Do I overfunction or criticize? Then ask, where did I learn this? Just noticing the origin reduces shame. You can try this today. Let me know how it goes. The second thing I want you to do is separate present from past in real time. The next time you feel really activated or triggered by something, if you can, pause and internally ask, is this about now or is this familiar? That single question moves you from adaptive child to your adult self. It takes about 5 seconds. And pro tip, if you feel really deep-seated emotions about something that you can say, yeah, this feels way more extreme than the activating event, the triggering thing, the thing that was said or done, right? Then yeah, it's about something that's familiar. It's something you grew up with, or it's a feeling you've had before from your past. So being able to pause in that moment and recognize that is going to help your logical side come in and say, how do I want to handle this differently? Okay, the third tip I want to give you is to redesign one household or emotional role you've taken on. Instead of arguing about fairness, audit your roles. Ask, which roles did we inherit without meaning to? Which ones did we actually want? What needs updating for the season of life? You don't need to overhaul everything. Don't look at all the roles you play. But if you feel like you're constantly carrying the emotional load of everything, and that's the role you've taken on, stop and figure out where that comes from and why you so easily took that role. And then start to redesign it. How can you allow others to be responsible for their own emotions and you not have to fix them? Just redesign this one thing and it will build momentum. And for those of you who like the bonus homework, I want you to sit down with your partner and have a 15-minute conversation where you answer this question. What's one pattern from my family that I don't want to carry forward anymore? Just one. No defending your parents, no blaming, no fixing, just awareness. And when your partner shares theirs, you don't need to fix or explain about their parents either. Just listen. Just allow both of you to be aware. Then I want you to end the conversation with, when you see me slip into that pattern, what would help me instead is, and then share what you need from your partner in those moments. Be very careful you don't get into, don't ever say these things, don't ever do these things. No, that's not for them to change. It would be more like, when you see me getting super escalated and you notice me going into fight mode, kindly and softly share with me, hey, can we take 15 to 20 minutes so we both can calm down and have a great conversation later about this? And then set a timer and take that time, right? That would be something I would say to my partner, hey, I need your help with this. It cannot be, just stop bringing up this topic. It triggers me. Sorry, that's not realistic. We just need support in the moments of breaking the cycle and the patterns, right? Okay, so that's your 15-minute homework with your partner this week. Breaking generational cycles is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming conscious, right? We don't have to do it right. We just need to be more aware. And you don't have to erase your past. There are many great things you got from your family and your generational lineage, but you do have to decide whether some of these patterns gets to run your future. If what I shared today really resonated with you, again, go sign up to join me for the masterclass next Wednesday, and let's dive into how to break these patterns by recognizing them and knowing what tools we need next. You don't have to untangle this alone. It's a lot. I get it. I'm doing this work too. And if you do get to do the homework this week, send me a message. I'd love to hear what you discovered. This is powerful and, yes, uncomfortable work, but so worth it. All right, you guys. Remember, we don't have to be the best partners in the world, but we do need to be evolving ones, right? Always growing. And that starts with awareness. So I'll see you next week. Before you go, I want to leave you with this. The effort you put into your relationship is one of the most important investments you'll ever make. How you communicate and grow together shapes your home, your leadership, and the example you set for the people around you. Relationship work is truly legacy work, and it quietly impacts more lives than we often realize. If this episode resonated, consider sharing it with someone you care about, a partner, a friend, or another couple who's building a full life and wants their relationship to be the best part of it too. And if you're enjoying these conversations, make sure to follow or subscribe to Relationship Reset. Leaving a rating or review also helps this message reach more couples who are ready to grow with intention. I'll see you next week.